Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's Nicole. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's having a great day. I wanted to pop on because I wanted to do a story time tonight. But let's get all that professional YouTuber stuff out of the way. If you're not already subscribed, I was going to say prescribed. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe down below. There's a little red subscribe button. All you got to do is push that. And if you want to be notified when I upload immediately, just check the little bell icon and drag down and check notify all. That way, they'll send you a little message in your subscription box when I upload. So, today I want to tell a story to you guys. I don't know if I've ever told this story before, so it's going to be good. This is my story on how I caught my felony and how I went to prison. So, this is my how I caught a case story. So, let me take you back to when it was. The year was, I think it was 2008. And at this time, I was living with my friend Nathan, and he was actually a dope cook. He was cooking methamphetamine at the time, and I was working for Shoe Carnival. Every day my schedule was like this. I would get up, I would either do a hot rail of meth or snort it, and then I would go to work from like 12 at noon to like 10 at night, and then I would come home and stay up all night on dope. I worked there for like 6 months, and my dad was really good friends with the Department of Motor Vehicles, the lady that was the manager over all the districts in our town, in our state. So I got a job working for the state of Arkansas doing car tags and driver's license. So I quit my job at Shoe Carnival, and I went on to bigger and better things to do the DMV job. Well, while I was working at the DMV job, I was getting more and more strung out on methamphetamine. Well, then I was working, the manager of the DMV, her name was Alinda. She passed away from cancer, and she was such a good lady. One day I was really stressed out. I think I had been up all night long on meth, and the ladies I worked with at the DMV, they were a lot older, and they understood that I had a problem, but they were trying to help me. They didn't want to fire me. They didn't want to let me go, and I was a good worker, you know, like I would come in and I would get all the people worked out in the line. I'd have like a long line out the door, and I would work all those people out doing their driver's licenses and IDs. And so one day I was like super stressed out, and Alinda, she was like, here, and she gave me a Xanax. And it was like, from that day forward, I loved Xanax. And I was on a mission. I was like, I'm going to get myself a prescription. So I remember I went to my doctor, and I told him what I needed to tell him, and he ended up giving me a prescription for Xanaxes, Somas, and hydrocodone. And I remember I thought I hit it big. I was like, I hit the jackpot. So here I am, like I would do meth every day to function, and then I started adding the opiates, the somas, and the benzos to it. So it was like my body was constantly I was always on something. Like I was never just regular, you guys. So I was working at the revenue office, and the way I was making extra money to buy drugs was I was making fake IDs for illegal aliens. And so Mexican guys would come in, and they would pay me $300 to $500 cash, and I would make them an ID, a legal, legit state ID. And I did this, you guys, for like 4 years until I got caught. I got caught because I took a check, and I left a paper trail where they could see that I was getting change back on this check. And I remember when I got caught, they made me beg them not to press charges. And I remember Alinda and Mary and Bowie came down, and she was like, the only reason we're not prosecuting you is because we love your dad, and we don't want him we don't want to do that to him. We love him. You know, he's our friend. So they told me to go and never come back. And so I left. Well, after I got fired from the DMV, I really, really, really plummeted. Like, I went downhill fast. I started IV shooting up meth and cocaine. And once I figured out that I could IV drugs, it was on. Because I would do copious amounts of cocaine and methamphetamine. And I remember doing so much that I would feel like I was having a heart attack. Like I would take my breath away. You know what I mean? Well, I was riding in... So I was living with Nathan, and this guy named Quincy came over. And we went to my sister's house and stayed up all night long, you know, shooting up dope and just messing around. And we were leaving my sister's house to go to somebody else's house, and we got surrounded. Okay, and I don't mean like pulled over on the side of the road. I mean surrounded by three marked vehicles and 2 big black SUVs. They surrounded my vehicle, you guys. We were driving. They threw Quincy out of my driver's side, jumped in my car, slammed the car in park, and I'm screaming. And they were like, "Get out on the floor, get on the ground." So I got on the ground, spread my legs. I mean, I was like I looked like those bodies in the chalk riding. And they searched my whole car, you guys. I had a hookah bong, I had marijuana, I had gas to gas off methamphetamine cook with, I had a meth, I had a rig in my purse, which is a needle, a syringe, and Quincy had like 6 grams of methamphetamine in his sock. Okay, while they're searching this dude, he is telling them that he doesn't know where that meth came from, and they found it in his sock. So they took us both in, and I remember like it was yesterday. He was like, "Nicole, I promise you, we're gonna get out of here." And I was like, "Yeah, right." You know, this dude got us out. We were out of there in 30 minutes, back on the streets shooting dope again. Well, we went to court like 3 months later, and I ended up getting put on probation. They were like, you know, "We're going to put you on probation. If you do good for these 3 years, then when you get off, you can get your felony and your record expunged." And I was like, okay, yeah. Well, I stayed on probation for a year, you guys, and the only drug screen that I ever passed was the first one I took. Every time I would go in to take a drug screen, I would tell my probation officer that I was going to fail. And she would still make me pee in the cup. She would make me raise my leg up real high so she could look inside of me to see if I was hiding pee up there, somebody else's pee. And I would always tell her, like, I'm just going to fail. Like, I was always like that, you guys. I was like, I would rather just cut to the chase, tell you that I'm fucked up and that I'm not going to pass. And I would beg, I was telling her, like, just send me to rehab. Send me to rehab. Well, finally, she gave me a chance and sent me to South Arkansas Substance Abuse Center in El Dorado, Arkansas. And I stayed there for 30 days, you guys. And I did really well. I followed the rules and I did what they told me to do. But that was the first time I ever withdrawed from opiates. And I remember that withdrawal because it was my first real withdrawal. Diarrhea shit all over the room. They would wake me up at 3 o'clock, then 7 o'clock, then 10 o'clock to check my vitals. The only thing they gave us was like clonidine to help with our blood pressure, and I think Ativan. It was awful, you guys. I was so sick for like 4 days, 4 or 5 days. And then on my 5th day, they let me go into the regular, you know, treatment center part. When I finished my 30 days there, the counselors really wanted me to stay and live in El Dorado and go to like live in the halfway house there. But against my better judgment, I said no, I didn't want to, and I went back to Hot Springs. Well, when I got back to Hot Springs, I thought, you know, I can do this, and I was like really trying my hardest to not do dope and not take pills. But the thing that was screwing me up was I was like trading my addictions. I knew I couldn't, you know, I knew that I couldn't shoot up meth and do all those drugs, so I was taking pills. Or I knew I couldn't take pills, so I just shoot up. And like I kept on trading, trying to figure out like that perfect middle ground to where I could pass my drug screen. Well, I kept failing them. And I remember it was probably like right before my year was up on probation, my first year. My probation officer called me in and she told me, like, I'm revoking you, you know. And when she revoked me, they called me into court and they sentenced me to a year in RPF, which is a boot camp style prison in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So I went to that boot camp style prison, and when I got there, you guys, like, I was so afraid. First, I went to county, and I was in county for like 60 days. And y'all know how county is. Like, I knew everybody because it was in my hometown. And all the ladies there, they like took care of me. And they got me socks. And they taught me how to make bras out of, you know, different contraptions. And tampons out of rolled up toilet paper. Just crazy stuff that you learn when you're in the county jail. And I stayed there for 60 days in county. And then they finally came and picked me up and transported me to Pine Bluff. And it was like a reality check whenever I was in the shower. They took me to delouse me. Go downstairs and see if your dad's here. They took me to delouse me, and they put me in the shower in between these two big old ladies, like 300-pound women. And I remember I was so scared. I was so scared, you guys. And that's when I knew I was like, he is home. I was like, I'm in prison. You know, I'm in prison and I don't have freedom, and I can't just leave here when I want to, or I can't just go to sleep and sleep it off because I'll be out in a couple days, you know, like I got to do a year. And that year in prison, you guys, was such a crazy ride. It was so crazy, but that's how I caught my charge, and that's how I went to prison. So I just kind of wanted to tell you guys that story because I don't think I've ever told you guys before. It was just like crazy because I had went all those years, and then I was, you know, riding with that guy. He was driving my car, and we got set up. Like some girl, these two twins, they call them the Terry twins. They set us up in Hot Springs. They were like confidential informants, you know, and they worked for the police in my town. And so they set us up because Quincy was a big dope dealer. But if you guys want to hear the next part to the story, which is what it was like when I was in RPF, the boot camp style prison, just comment down below and tell me, you know, if you want to hear about it. I will tell you, it's some crazy stuff. And let me just tell you this. When you get a bunch of women in one place like that, locked up for a long amount of time, they get desperate, and they'll do whatever they can to get their rocks off. So if y'all want to hear about this craziness, comment down below, and I will make a video tomorrow night about my year in prison. So I hope you guys are having a great night. I really do love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for the support. I hope you guys were able to find my Suboxone support group on Facebook. I put the link in the video before this. Also, don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram. If you have any friends that, you know, need some help or some support, just some recovery support, tell them to check out my channel. Tell them to shoot me a message. I would love to talk to them. And you guys, you know, feel free to message me anytime on Facebook or Instagram or on here. I see that, you know, there's new people coming every day, and I'm super excited about it, you guys. Like, I want to help you guys and give you hope and encourage you on your journey, because you're worth it. You're worth living a life of sobriety, you know, and we all deserve it. We all deserve to live a good life. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed the story time. And if you want to hear what happened in prison, comment down below. Talk to y'all later.